Now, what did his parents think of you?
They loved me. She let it, his mom. She was the one that I smoked weed with the very first time. We ditched school, went to his mom's house. She always watched like these black and white shows on TV, and we sat down at the table, and she always drank coffee. And she pulled a little tin box out, and she looked at Jim, and she's like, "Is she gonna smoke?" And I didn't know what they were really talking about. I was like, "What?" I didn't know it was cool like that. And he goes, "I don't know, ask her." And so she just slides the tin over, and she says, "Open it up, open it up." And she says, "If you can roll it, you can smoke it." So of course, an hour later, I had this jacked. I went through like 4 rolling papers. It was totally impregnated. It had this big old tumor, but we smoked it. I mean, his mom was really cool. She was really, really cool. His whole family loved me. We were good for each other, and everybody saw that.
Were his parents kind of eccentric like he was?
Yeah, my parents, they never smoked weed. I think my dad smoked a cigarette once in his whole life. They were really kind of like your straight and narrow. And his family, totally different. Totally different. I mean, she was like this Wiccan pagan lady, and she'd pull hair out of your head and tell you, wrap it around her pinky and be like, "I'm gonna curse you." I mean, just funny. They were just strange. I think there was a big attraction to them being so different. Loved it. That's what makes it kind of painful that they don't want to have anything to do with me now. Because there was a lot of years. There was like 15 years 14 years, something like that we had together being a family. Then all it took was one day for it to all be gone.
Now, the persons that had raped you, did you ever find out who they were?
No.
If you had, would you have sought some kind of prosecution?
No. Because I hid everything. I didn't tell anybody. The only person that knew I was pregnant was Jim. I hid my whole pregnancy from everybody. I didn't even tell my best friends. I was really super ashamed.
And were you more ashamed that you had let yourself get in that situation, or the fact that, or were you ashamed of the fact that it happened in general?
I was ashamed that I had put myself in that position because I was partying. I was by myself. I was with people I didn't know. And you open yourself up to things. And I thought I was smart. Thought I had street smarts. Thought I knew what I was doing. Clearly I didn't.
No, because of that, what happened to you? Do you try to show your sons how women should be treated?
Absolutely. I told my son about that whole situation, and I told him, there's ugliness, and you're not a real man if you're partaking in ugliness. You need to treat women a certain way. It's respect. It's just wrong. He was very angry. He was like, "You should press charges, da 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 da." And I was like, "You don't understand." Like, I was totally out of it when the whole thing was happening. Like, I remember bits and pieces. I don't remember faces. There's nothing I could remember, and it's far too late to do any kind of DNA rape kit or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Was your adoption open?
Yeah.
So do you have contact with the parents?
My mom does.
Mm-hmm.
They're beautiful people, just phenomenally great people. I have an open plane ticket to go to Ireland anytime I want, but it's just not something I'm ready to deal with. My mom gets pictures, school pictures and things like that in the mail, and I always know when it comes because it's a big yellow envelope from Ireland, and it sits on the counter kind of waiting for me to pick it up and look at it. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's just, I don't know if it's to say it's too early for me to deal with that, but right now it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's really not easy. Because when I look at his face, my mind starts working, and I try to picture, who does he look like? Who was at that party? Who could that be?
Now, the people that you were partying with that weekend, did you know all of them?
I went to the river, and I was going to spend one epic summer kind of backpacking. And you kind of go from house to house, and there's parties, and people pick you up on boats, and hey, let's go, woo, you know. And I went to a party, and they started lighting lights. And one of them was 15 and started to feel funny, so I went down to the beach to sit down, and next thing I know, I remember I was face down in the sand. There was obviously someone on top of me, and 2, maybe 3 people watching, and then I was out of it, and then I came to again. There was somebody else on me, only one person sitting there, and then I was back out of it. Woke up a 3rd time, and I don't really know what was going on. I just remember kind of waking up, spitting sand out. And then I went back out and woke up in the morning, and I had like 0 to no clothes, no clothes on. I had chunks of hair pulled out of my head. I had bite marks all over me, black eye, fat lip, bruises just head to toe. And I just grabbed whatever stuff I had sitting around me that was mine and took off. Went to a public restroom. The lady took one look at me and was like, wow. And she let me come in and use the bathroom and clean up myself as much as I could. And asked the lady if I could borrow phone money. And I got on the phone, payphone, and called my mom. And she got me a bus ticket.
Now, did you tell your mom what had happened?
No.
So, at this point, does she know how that baby was conceived to give it for adoption?
She didn't even know I was pregnant until I came home from Colorado. Because I was home for about a month or 2. And then I called Jim. He was already living in Colorado. And I called him and I said, look, I need you. You know what I mean? I need to come to you. And he was like, come out here. And as soon as I got off the bus, he looked at me and said, oh my God. Oh my God. And then I told him what happened, and he was such a rock. I don't think it takes a real man to scoop you up in his arms and tell you it's going to be okay and we'll be all right.
And you believed him when he said that?
Absolutely. And everything was all right. Everything was great. And then that happened, I got on an airplane, and Katie, my friend Katie, she bought me an airplane ticket. And she said, come home. My parents picked me up from the airport, and I was out here with a baby, and I had to explain everything. My parents were shocked. Unbelievable. My dad actually had a hard time with that. He loves me dearly, but he couldn't look at me for like 3 or 4 or 5 days.
Do you think it's because he was hurting for you?
Yeah. Well, it's that father thing. You think you're protecting your children. You think that you can do anything. And he was helpless. It was very hard for him.
Okay, I'm going to end with this one question. Okay. If there's anything you could say to Jim right now, what would you say?
I hope I'm doing you proud. I hope I'm raising your son as you would, or as best I can as you would. I just hope I'm making you proud. And I miss you.